The way our product works is, let's say you're running 100 campaigns. We are essentially going to shapeshift the priority of these campaigns through budget bids and modifiers. And we're going to identify pockets of opportunities in each campaign, times of the day where you have good results, but you're not spending enough. And we make those changes for you. And of course, if a product is performing better, we try to push that product more. So essentially, it's a efficiency-based game that we're playing.
You're listening to Talk Commerce. Subscribe and download at talk-commerce.com.
Welcome to this special e-tail episode of Talk Commerce. Today I have Rocco Baldasarre and Mitsu Kikuchi from Shirofune. Mitsu and Rocco. Mitsu, why don't you go ahead and do an introduction first for yourself. Tell us your day-to-day role and one of your passions in life.
Okay, so I'm Mitsu Kikuchi, then I'm founder and CEO, and I'm also an engineer. So I created the algorithm for Shirofune to optimize campaigns and to get better results. And why I found Shirofune is, the human experts always do the things that AI cannot do. So I realized that, the system that acts like actual humans, that would be best for, saving times and get better performance. So I started the coding to replicate what actual humans do. So, and now we can, do the tasks that AI cannot automate. So that's, our uniqueness, and, that's my, the place where I can put my, passion into it.
That's great.
Yeah.
And Rocco?
Nice to meet you, first of all. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm Rocco Baldasarre. I'm the head of business development and passion. I have many passions. I would say soccer is the one that I spend a lot of time.
Football.
Yeah, I really think about American football if I say football, but yeah, the real football, let's say, the one we play with the feet.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, thank you so much for having us here today.
Real Madrid in 2005 when they still had the dream team. We won't talk about soccer today or running. So tell us a little bit about how, and I love the fact that you were in tech, and that's my background too. I was in tech and did coding, and then I founded a company. So anyways, tell us a little bit about the beginning and like the solution that you saw, and you kind of gave us the preview of it, but tell us about how that solution now has evolved into Shirofune.
So I began my career at a digital advertising agency, and so the ad manager worked very hard to optimize campaigns. And so our inspiration is that if we can create the system that acts like actual human. So I started coding to replicate that kind of activity.
Yeah, one of the things that I think is very important to underline here is that a system that works like a human. Shirofune is 15 years old now. We are not an AI company. We are a human company. We call our technology a human intelligence because we try to replicate the work of a person rather than have an AI take crazy decisions for you.
Can you give us an example of how that would look for an actual retailer or merchant that's using the system?
Of course. So essentially, let's assume you are having campaigns across 5 platforms, and there is a lot of data being processed. What a person would do is he would download the data, read the data, interpret, and make decisions. What our system does is exactly that, but the decision is going to be brought to you in a yes or no format. We say the data is telling us that this is a potential opportunity for you or a problem for you. We suggest to implement this change. Do you approve this change or not? So that's something that, an example of the many things we do where we replicate the work you would spend countless hours doing, but we do it in a much faster fashion so you can focus on strategy, you can focus on growth.
What are some of the examples of, you talked about getting some ROAS and getting some advantages over what you have. Do you have some good examples of what that would look like in terms of increasing your spending?
Yes, essentially, to give you a good example, we actually calculate how much time people save using Shirofune. The lowest we've seen is 40%, the highest 70%, and that's a pretty big saving. In terms of ROAS, we see a lift within the first few months of 50, 60%.
Tell us about your ideal client for you who uses the system, and what is the typical use case for your ideal client?
It's somebody that has a large enough budget to not have time to optimize it, essentially, where they believe that there is a lot of missed opportunities in the account from a budgeting, from a bidding perspective, essentially not having the time or never being able to have the time to work on that. Those kind of customers, they're going to see value from day one because they understand that they are leaving money on the table. And of course, it needs to be somebody that is willing to adopt technologies. It needs to be an adopter. Otherwise, you're going to end up with people that think it's a magic bullet where magically you're going to get double the results. No, it's a gradual process. Like a person would do that, but they need to recognize the fact that they are missing those opportunities in the first place right now.
Mitsu, that you started this 15 years ago. You must have seen a huge amount of different transitions from different technologies, and now AI is such a buzzword.
Yeah.
How have you adopted across all those different technology shifts?
Yeah, that's actually a very good question. We are growing with technology, of course. Humans use technology to, get better performance. So we are actually similar to human. So we are, thinking what's the technology we can leverage for our algorithm. So technology grows. As technology grows, our algorithm can use many technologies like AI or machine learning thing. Even we can handle human component and AI component together, so we can maximize the performance and our capability. So we grow with technology.
We're here at eTail, and the buzzword today is agentic commerce, agentic marketing. How have you embraced some of that new idea of this agents that are going to go out and buy and sell things for us autonomously without us even doing anything?
Well, that's a very interesting topic because, first of all, it's going to take probably some time for a full deployment. But that doesn't mean that they don't know what I like and save me time to go buy a product, right? What I think, though, we need to remember is that no matter how they go about and finding what to buy, they're probably going to be using some sort of algorithm to predict our behavior during those purchases funnels. So that means that you still go to do the optimizations as if you're selling to a person, just saving time but not having the person shop. But the concept of having a good product that answers the 5 Ws, the 1H, is still going to be there. So essentially the base, the core, I think is not going to change. It's going to change the way we interact with things.
So tell us about how your product works within the funnel. They come in and it's going to optimize the type of product they're going to show the client, or the type of clients that are going to see different products. Tell us about that.
The way our product works is, let's say you're running 100 campaigns. We are essentially going to shapeshift the priority of these campaigns through budget bids and modifiers, and we're going to identify pockets of opportunities in each campaign, times of the day where you have good results, but you're not spending enough. And we make those changes for you. And of course, if a product is performing better, we try to push that product more. So essentially, it's a efficiency-based game that we're playing, and we're making sure that the goals that you have are met the most efficient way possible. A very good example is somebody that might be selling a product for $100 and another product for $50. The typical AI would be like, I want to sell more of 100 because I have, let's say, good profits on that. What if the guy that buys the $50 product buys it 7 times throughout the year? We are able to look at that data and be like, you shouldn't spend money on the $100 product because by the end of the year, you get $300 back. On the $50, you're going to get $450 back. That's where your growth is. All of that is automated for us. And we are able to essentially grow the bottom line of the businesses by using their own that they're not using right now.
So the business started in Japan. So you've now gone into different markets. Has it been a challenge coming to the U.S. market? Is there anything that you've seen that's hard? Are you in the European market already?
I don't think there is a huge difference because the people are doing the same thing, like managing ads, Meta ads, Google ads, Amazon ads. Slightly different is in Japan, the people are more, detailed focusing. So they want this, super detailed numbers, or they wanted to know why the performance get better or worse. American seems to not to care too much about the details. So we just provide the performance or even time savings. So that's slightly different, but basically it's same, I would say.
Do you see that the managers value the time savings over just cost savings? Like sometimes managers don't equate time with cost often.
We make sure they understand that because, well, particularly with agencies, when we work with them, we give them a timetable and we ask them to write down how long it takes to perform tasks. Then with that, we go to the hiring manager or whoever is their boss and it's like, how much does an hour cost for you? And we say, this is how much it's costing you to optimize this account every month. Then we give the same timesheet at the end of our trial. And usually you see the 70% cut in time. And we go there, by the way, you're paying us $1, we are saving you 12. That's a deal. Like they always sign a contract at that point because they're seeing the numbers.
So here at eTail, outside of AI and outside of agentic commerce or whatever the buzzword is today, what are you seeing that's exciting we're gonna be looking at coming into the future for technology?
For technology, I would say attribution, Mitsu.
Yeah.
Attribution is like more and more companies are waking up to the fact that it's not what the platforms are reporting, it's about way more than that. For example, a lot of companies, they optimize by thinking, I'm getting a sale from an email. Email marketing is working well. And now they're starting to think, how did I get that email in the system? So is it really email making the sale, or was that Facebook campaign that I'm not spending much because I don't think it's performing? And that's very exciting that they're realizing.
I do think it's going to be a challenge with some of the cookie stuff going away, that it's going to be harder to attribute some of that funnel or where that original email came from, because it's maybe, like you said, it may go through 4 or 5 steps. They may go from TikTok to Facebook to your email list.
Third-party data. So attribution company help with first-party data. That's why it's so important, and they're able to trace that for you. It may be anonymized format, but I don't need to know if you bought something. I need to know overall what happens to a good percentage of my customers. So that's good enough to make decisions.
How about the spends outside of the traditional media? Like I think Google and Amazon are traditional, Bing if it's still a thing, but like Walmart is now a thing, and Target and some of the other platform marketplaces. Are you seeing customers moving some spend into different areas to test it?
And I think, Mitsu, that's probably a good topic in regards to why we are integrating with DSP, Trade Desk, 360, because they're doing that. If they're doing that, they also want to make sure they can optimize it. And everybody's trying that. And the reason why they're trying that, they are understanding that it's much better to put your eggs in multiple baskets, because you never know if there is a platform that can give you more immediate gratification. And part of it is the inflation. Costs have gone up on the traditional media. So some companies are like, is there anything out there that doesn't cost me as much to get a similar result?
Yeah, so if you look at how much does it cost to spend on something new, the newer marketplaces, testing those marketplaces to see how well they work is maybe one of the places that you work well in.
Yeah, and essentially one of the things that we do in Japan, for example, we partner with Bing a lot. If we're seeing a platform performing better, we take money away from another platform and put it there automatically. So for them, it's a much safer investment because they're like, I want to test it, and if it does well, I need the technology to balance my budget distribution. So that's something that we thrive a lot in.
Is there too many places that you can try to spend ads on? And I think of like TikTok Shop, all the different social medias. X has ad spends. Do you recommend trying a lot of them and just testing it? And that would be something that you would be able to help with by testing, hey, maybe in a certain vertical, X works really well for you, and maybe it's cheap now because nobody's on it. But nobody's on it, but maybe just your vertical's on it. Is that something that you would help?
Absolutely. And we always tell our customers, if you're smart, you test at least one platform a month. And we can help them simplify that, but it's like you always want to test something, because otherwise you're going to go in a stall and you're limiting the opportunity for growth, because what if the X in that vertical works?
Yeah, so just from a usability standpoint, do you see that some ad networks are going up Some are, is Google coming down and others are kind of taking their place now? Is Amazon taking some of that business, or is it still pretty well distributed?
It is very well distributed. We are seeing a lot of people trying more TikTok shops. What is interesting though, and what I think is gonna be something that might change in the future, is that a lot of Amazon only sellers, they're trying to think about going directly to their website because of all the fees associated with it. So I'm seeing a lot of that, but it's slow because, they don't want to lose those sales they're getting on Amazon. But in the last few years, that's something that I've seen more and more of.
So we have a few minutes left. Actually, Mitsu, I have to ask you, are you still doing some coding? Good. Do you see that as like a stress relief to do a little coding? That's great. All right. So as we do close out the podcast, I give you a chance to do a shameless plug about anything you want, which just means you can promote anything you want shamelessly. So what would you guys like to promote today?
What I would like to, more than promote, mention is I want to talk about why people trust us. So whenever somebody wants to use our platform, there is a free trial. Usually 2 months, depending on the company, can get up to 3. The free trial, usually with the 3 months, you get a good understanding whether you like us or not. That's a very big risk for us. But it's not the only risk we take. The second risk we take is that we don't have contracts with them. It's a month-to-month agreement. Month-to-month agreement means that every month we need to win your business over and over again. So whenever somebody offers something that crazy, 3 months free and month-to-month, you might be asking yourself what their retention rate is like and what they deliver, because that's a big and that offer has been there for 15 years. So I let the public judge if we are a good company by looking at the way we offer our service. And that's usually something that we tell our customers. Look at what they're trying to let you sign and you will understand how good the service is. And we have a 96% retention rate today. That speaks highly of like what Mitsu has built over the years. I didn't code a single line of code, by the way.
That's awesome. Both of you, Mitsu Kikuchi and Rocco Baldasarre, thank you so much for being here. It's been such a great pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Talk Commerce is a production of Content Basis LLC. For more creative content, go to contentbasis.io.